Oggi sono un po' emozionato perché in questa puntata di Anime di Corsa ho l'opportunità di intervistare uno dei miei idoli, uno degli atleti più incredibili secondo me che abbiamo. Lui è Harvey Lewis. Per chi non lo conoscesse ancora, Harvey è secondo me uno dei più grandi ultra runners al mondo. Ha praticamente vinto gare impossibili, tra cui la Badwater. Ha partecipato tantissime volte nella quella che è detta di molti la ultramaratona più dura al mondo, e l'ha vinta ben 2 volte. E un anno, nel 2021, l'ha vinta proprio davanti ai miei occhi, e io ho documentato, diciamo, il chilometro finale di quella gara massacrante, ed è stata un'emozione incredibile.
Hello. You're amazing, man.
Alright guys, we're gonna run it in once we get to that hill.
2021 champion.
Well, we're not there yet. I never counted until we're there.
You're gonna be there. How was it?
It's quite incredible. Really incredible.
Ma Harvey non ha vinto solo Badwater, ovviamente, ha un curriculum che fa paura. Una delle cose che ha fatto recentemente è quello di fare il record del mondo nella Badwater Ultra, ovvero ha corso 450 miglia. È stato sveglio per tante ore facendo appunto il record di corsa consecutiva all'interno di questo format molto particolare che abbiamo già visto qua in Anime di Corsa. Bene, lo abbiamo qui con noi, ho la possibilità di intervistarlo chiaramente in inglese perché lui è americano, ahimè non parla italiano. Sta preparando in questo momento la Barkley Marathon, una delle gare, se possiamo definirla così, più assurde di questo pianeta. Vorrebbe provare a finirla, nonostante ci ha già provato l'anno scorso, non gli è andata proprio benissimo. Ora si sta allenando, e in questa intervista andiamo a conoscere meglio questo atleta molto particolare, un atleta che, a detta sua, ha iniziato a migliorare nell'ultrarunning da quando ha trasformato la sua dieta vegetariana all'inizio e poi vegana da qualche anno. Atleta che ha un modo di operare molto particolare. A livello mentale penso sia unico nel suo genere, perché è in grado di riuscire a portare a termine gare molto diverse tra loro. Per esempio appunto una Badwater dove si corre nel deserto a temperature estreme, oppure una Backyard Ultra dove si corre praticamente senza dormire per tantissimo tempo. Lui riesce ad eccellere in entrambi le tipologie, così come ha corso anche in situazioni di temperature molto basse, a differenza appunto di Badwater. Insomma, è un atleta estremamente completo che riesce a livello mentale di fare quella cosa in più rispetto ad altri atleti che appunto riescono comunque a fare cose eccezionali. Insomma, secondo me è un esempio, è un atleta spettacolare, tra l'altro molto piacevole parlare con lui. È stata questa una delle interviste più importanti per me, proprio perché per me appunto Harvey Lewis è una sorta di idolo.
There it is, buddy. There it is, buddy. Go get it, Harvey. Come on, Harvey! Harvey! Yeah, buddy! Bring it in the light, Harvey. Bring it in the light, sir. We did it. All right,
Amazing
Harvey.
job,
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, Harvey. Right.
Io sono Simone Luciani, se non mi conoscete ancora, questo è Esco a Correre, una community per runners con l'obiettivo di aiutare più persone possibili a migliorare la propria versione attraverso la corsa. Lo facciamo in tantissimi modi, su questo canale YouTube ovviamente, sul podcast, attraverso la rubrica Anime di Corsa, ma non solo. Abbiamo anche un'Academy, Esco a Correre Academy, dove aiutiamo le persone a correre, a migliorarsi nella corsa, dai principianti agli atleti più evoluti. Lo facciamo in tanti modi, tabelle personalizzate, coaching one to one, tecnica di corsa con analisi attraverso il laboratorio del dottor Testa, nutrizione, psicologia sportiva, insomma un sacco di cose. Andate a vedere qua sotto, link in descrizione. Voglio anche ringraziare Top for Running, che è lo sponsor di questo canale. Top for Running è un sito dove si possono trovare le migliori scarpe da corsa, indumenti per il running e l'atletica, accessori eccetera. E in questo periodo per Natale Top for Running sta facendo delle promozioni incredibili, ci sono scarpe scontatissime, lascio qua sotto il link, utilizzate il coupon code ESCO a correre che vi dà fino al 10% di sconti, e non solo, su alcuni ordini avrete anche degli omaggi, dei prodotti in omaggio, quindi mi raccomando andate a vedere il sito di Top for Running e utilizzate il codice sconto ESCO a correre tutto attaccato, così ci aiutate anche a sostenerci e ovviamente troverete prodotti a prezzi davvero incredibili. Detto questo, amici, siamo pronti per partire con questa nuova puntata di Anime di Corsa. Vi presento Harvey Lewis. Hello, Harvey. So nice to have you here. Thanks a lot for doing this.
Oh, I'm psyched to be here with you. I mean, I have Italian friends, and it's really great to connect across the pond.
I know that there's a lot of runners in our community, the community of Escocora, that knows you and is inspired by the things that you do, especially lately after destroying the new world record of the Badwater Ultra. We had our Italian team there, and we just witnessed what an amazing job you did in that race. So I think you're even more popular now in Italy. If you want to just to introduce yourself, just for those who still don't know who you are, quickly.
Yes. So I'm Harvey Lewis, and I'm an ultra runner, but also a full-time high school teacher. And I teach in an art school, but I teach financial literacy and government. And I love running races of all different specializations, especially ultra races, that is. So I've really excelled in the backyard ultra. I've also had experience with 24-hour races and mountain races, and now I've been dabbing in the Barkley race the last few years, and I'll be doing that race. So I've had a wide span of different types of races, and I just enjoy them all, and it's great to connect with you.
It was lovely to witness your win in Badwater, but we'll get that. We'll get there. First of all, I wanted to hit the one of the most important topics for me, because you are a long-term vegetarian and vegan runner since 2016, I think, if I did my research well. How has your vegan lifestyle influenced your performance and recovery in the ultra running world? Because there's still a lot of debate around it. It's always an important topic to hit, in my opinion.
Yeah. So it's been instrumental for me. Like, actually, I started eating vegetarian back in 1996. After my mother had a stroke at a young age of like 54. And I was never an exceptional athlete growing up. I mean, in fact, I ran track, but I never scored once for my team. And honestly, I ate very traditional American diet, which is not very healthy on average. Like, it's very meat and dairy centric, and also lots of fast food and processed foods. But eating vegetarian in '97, I noticed a dramatic change in my energy level when I started getting into these ultras. So then the wild thing is I've been doing these ultras now for it's crazy to even imagine, but I've been running these ultras for 27 years. And what's so remarkable is that I am performing my highest ever after 27. I never made the top 10 list of Ultra Runner of the Year until my 25th year of running ultras, which I don't know anyone else that has had that experience. Because I mean, a lot of people usually get to their stronger level earlier on. So I took a long while to get there. But honestly, I'd say that, sorry, we got something going over the PA at my school. But I would say that the nutrition was without a doubt the single most important element that has kept me healthy and actually increasing my performance even after running for 20 years in ultras. So I mean, that's kind of a wild thing. And since going the next step and changing my nutrition from vegetarian to all vegan, I've had all my furthest and strongest performances from the marathon on up. So in my 40s. So the backyard ultra was kind of I guess it would be definitely like my quintessential race. And that happened just in October. And that was just kind of the culmination of all these decades of just the Count of Monte Cristo, like just chomping away at the wall and finally cracking through. So the food has made a big impact because of the lowering the inflammation. So I don't get, knock on wood, but I don't get injured, which is crazy. And then also just the ability to like sustain yourself. In most races, I don't get upset stomachs. I'm able to process a lot of calories, and that works really well to the ultras as well as to the backyards. And I don't ever get sick. I mean, my immune system is really healthy. I used to get, I don't remember that when I was younger in my childhood, but it's like, wow, that nutrition has a giant impact on your overall picture.
So there's even a big difference between vegetarian and vegan. So the next step seems to be having incredible results on yourself as well. So
yeah, it's definitely there's other factors, of course, in terms of strategy and training and dedication,
experience,
but experience as well. But nutrition definitely is a major pillar in the whole picture. So it's and arguably I'd say it's if it's a third of the picture, it's the biggest to me in the sense of like where I am now, like competing at 47, like, and having done this for 27 years, like that's very uncommon for an athlete to be at their peak after doing something for 27 years. It doesn't happen. That's very unusual to have happen. And it couldn't have happened except for the nutrition.
Unbelievable. Really, an amazing inspiration. So you have an impressive list of ultramarathon victories, including multiple wins at the Badwater Ultramarathon. As we were speaking before, I was witnessing in 2021 one of your 2 victories there, and of course now I think probably one of the most important, this new record at the Backyard Ultra. What do these achievements mean to you personally? Of course, thinking that you've been running for so long and you're so experienced.
Well, different ones have different meanings, but I just they mean a lot to me because it was something that seemed so improbable. And so, if I go way back when I first got started, I was actually more like the character Chunk in Goonies. It's an old classic in America. But I was the chubby kid growing up, and so yeah, it's just been so to not be an athlete that's used to being a very like strong athlete to growing into that made it all the sweeter. So it makes me appreciate and be grateful for health and that opportunity. And I also just love sharing those experiences with my crew as well as the other athletes and the people I meet in the journey. And I hope that I can have some impact on others in terms of like their own personal journeys and their health, from my students to like the folks around the world that I might come in contact with, just to see that, hey, it's possible to like really impact your personal health, and you can definitely continue to push yourself and grow. And I mean, I gain from the other people as well. So it's a reciprocal relationship. We're all it's going back and forth from all of us, so that's, it's just a real absolute pleasure to have this opportunity to connect with people, including yourself right now and your followers around the globe. That's to me like means the world.
Oh, thank you. One thing that impresses me is that you are so strong mentally, because you're able to win races like in the desert, like Badwater, or races that have totally different conditions. So extreme temperatures, one way or another, it doesn't matter. You just get it done like no one else can do. So my curiosity is around your training methodologies. Do you have any? Could you share with us some, like how a week looks like for you? Maybe when you're on your peak training for something special, like I don't know, maybe the last race that you just destroyed.
I like to really think about the race I'm going after, and I like to simulate that race. So, for example, if I'm doing Badwater, and that's my A race, then I concentrate like the 2 months, 6 weeks leading up on more road running, and maybe my trails I only do like once a week. And so then I like actually focus in on areas I know that are particularly challenging in whatever course I'm going to. So like for Badwater, I focus on like the hill climb and descent. So I'll go on like the weekend, I'll just run up and down a road hill like for like 5 hours, like 4 hours, and not particularly like fast, but just consistently. And that might be one of my peak weeks. Like maybe it starts off where I'm doing that for like 3 hours or something like that. But I also go to the sauna. And then I focus my mind on like the race is my A race that I'm going to do. I focus my mind and conditioning my mind to positive assimilations or positive connections. So what I mean by that is like, okay, so let's say Barkley, for instance. Like Barkley, it's, if I was really to just be totally truthful with my soul, I would say I love the Italian Mediterranean environment. I love the beautiful sea, and I love like when the weather is like 26 degrees Celsius, and it's like you could just run and then just jump right into the sea. It's just so incredible. And there's like, maybe you have a few clouds, but there's a lot of sunshine. It just feels so good on your skin. It's so nice. But for Barkley, if I look at the probabilities and I look at like the history, well, more than likely there's going to be a day of the 60 hours where it's going to be raining, and more likely possibility is that rain is going to be right around 1 or 2 degrees Celsius. Maybe it's going to be right below Celsius. You might have a little bit of like some snow, but mostly rain and sleet coming down, and maybe it's just going to be this lightning storm and the trees are going to be shaking. And so it's far enough away from Berkeley where I can be sort of like, if in my soul, if I really like, I would think, oh, you know, being in Italy and just having that sunshine hit me, and I'm just gonna go jump in the sea at the end of the run. It's just so like, oh, it feels so good, like massage, you know, it's so nice, man. But the way I have to take it is I have to reprogram my mind, and I have to say, oh my God, I love that cold rain. It is so wild. It makes me feel like an animal. I just can't get that feeling any other way. I'm just gonna go at it like I'm like Wolverine. I'm gonna be like just attacking the mountains, and I can't get into that deep spiritual spot in ourselves without going out in that rain. And it might feel cold, but that's really just like, you know, liquid sunshine, just awakening the spirit. And so I have to change my mind. So like right now, I'm not all the way prepared for Berkeley. I have to get my mind settled in terms of like the darkness. You're out there in the middle of nowhere. It's in the woods. There's no trail. You're off trail. You're hoping you're going the right direction. So you have to like, you can't be thinking like Blair Witch Project. Oh my God, man, some crazy thing is going to be chasing after me. Like,
interrompo un attimino giusto per spiegarvi che cos'è la Berkeley Marathon, perché altrimenti, insomma, Harvey ne parla tantissimo e non tutti conoscono questa manifestazione pazzesca. La Berkeley Marathon è una ultramaratona che si tiene tutti gli anni in un posto che si chiama Frozen Head State Park in Tennessee. È una gara, un'altra maratona di 100 miglia, 160 km, però c'è un limite di tempo di 60 ore. E perché è estremamente popolare questa gara? Perché è una gara che ha avuto nella sua storia pochissimi finishers, perché la gara è molto particolare. Prima di tutto è un percorso difficilissimo, praticamente quasi impossibile da completare. Pensate che ci sono solo 17 atleti che sono riusciti effettivamente a completare il percorso nella sua storia. È stata inventata nel 1986, 17 atleti. E inoltre, appunto, oltre al fatto di essere estremamente complicato il percorso, non è tutto fuori trail, quindi si corre senza avere un tracciato, e soprattutto bisogna, diciamo, riuscire a trovare una sorta di clues, che sono delle pagine strappate di un libro, e bisogna assolutamente trovarle proprio per testimoniare di aver fatto il percorso corretto. E non si ha orologi a disposizione, non si ha crew a disposizione, è totalmente libera, wild, e questo la rende una delle gare, anzi probabilmente la gara più impossibile al mondo. Appunto, solo 17 persone fino ad ora sono riuscite a completare questa ultramaratona pazzesca. Sono 5 giri complessivi, quindi c'è la possibilità di fare un giro, 2 giri, 3 giri, o arrivare appunto fino al quinto giro e quindi completare la gara. E ogni tanto gli atleti si sfidano anche semplicemente a completare il primo loop, il primo giro, che già è un successo. In più il clima è folle, insomma, poi Harvey adesso vi spiegherà meglio.
No scary movies in the lead up to Berkeley from here on out. But yeah, definitely the conditioning of the mind is as important as the actual physical workouts that build up to it. So it's like the psychological element is also a key component. So one simple thing I may do, for instance, is introduce whatever it is that you're training for in small parts. So what I mean by that is, maybe it wouldn't be my first choice to go run in the woods in the cold rain, in the darkness at midnight. So maybe I'm just going to introduce by going, and I'm going to just go do that for like an hour, or like 40 minutes, or maybe even 30 minutes. And by doing that for 30 minutes, then I'm like, oh, so 30 minutes. And then I'm like, well, I would enjoy even going a little longer than this, but now I'm gonna go home. And like, now when I leave, I'm not totally just disintegrated, and I'm not totally wiped out. I like left, and I'm like, I want to come back. That was kind of neat, running in the woods in the darkness. And so you condition yourself. Maybe you have some sort of treat. You're gonna go get in a hot tub, or you're going to get like some vegan muffins afterwards. Who knows? Whatever it is for you. Coca-Cola. I like kind of Coca-Cola if I train really hard. I don't drink it daily. But that sort of conditioning affects your psychological system. So just a little introduction is kind of nice at first. The heat example with Badwater, you just like, you have some positive experience with the heat. So, you wouldn't want to like break your body down every single day, every time. Because if you do that, then you're training your brain to think that, well, every time I see this, I'm going to flinch because I'm expecting to get hit real hard. It's like, so you want to like mix it up. So the body's the brain is a little confused. They think they're expecting that positive conditioning. They're not expecting to like just get like the big punches against the body. They're also expect your body, your brain's expecting some positive externalities from it as well. So that's kind of important in terms of psychological.
Wow, I knew that the mental part was important, but the way you put it is incredible. It's mind blowing how much effort you have to put to master these races. They are some of the most difficult races on earth. And actually, I had this question. It was one of the last ones. But what are your expectations actually at the Barkley? Are you going there to get as many loops as you can, or your goal is to finish that thing?
That's a good question that I still have to work at, but I have a hard time going to a race without the expectation of finishing, and that's why Laz sets it up and prepares his condolence messages to us. It says, you guys are entering the hell of Hades and you have no chance in the world to finish, so you might as well just like succumb to like the death that awaits you. So I think that Laz and I kind of joked that when I finished last year and I was knocked out, he's like, well, the first year you finished the lap, the second year you got like within inches of finishing the second lap. So third year, it's going to take you 5 years, Harvey, to get through 5 laps. You just keep on adding in another lap every year. So it's tough. I think that with Barkley, it's a different race than any other race. So just being out there, you could have something go awry, like even in lap 1, because you're running on off trail. And I mean, it's kind of like Die Hard. It's like I can remember going from the first to the second book in my first year, and there was just this drop that was substantial, and I'm just like yippee-ki-yay, and I just jumped and I just went down butt slide the whole way. Like it looked ridiculous, like stuff you would not do. But you really prepare yourself. So you're used to like falling. So running down the hill like at a faster pace than I normally ever run. Training down the hill on the Barkley, you fall and run, you fall and run. It's a very challenging course that you don't. There's variables that are hard to predict, like the fog. So if I just say I'm going to go and finish all 5 laps, that would be my goal for sure. But it's difficult to give that same degree of like a certainty that I would in something else, because there's so many variables that I don't necessarily control all the variables, which makes it a fantastic race too. So yeah, I would be really. I think I could be happy if I finish the fun run, which is 3 laps, because that's also that's a victory. And anything in addition to that would be additional like icing on the cake. So I'm gonna go for all 5 laps. So I can't imagine entering the race and say, I'm just going for the shortcut. But if I finish 3 laps, then I'm on path to get there in 5 years, like Laz said. So
might take a while.
Go with that.
Well, I can't wait to see you in that race. What is the nutrition strategy in a race like that is so complicated? And of course, seeing that you are vegan, so you already have a kind of choice that you have to do anyways. How do you structure that?
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, I do think that one of my advantages in is somewhat taken away in that race, in the sense that I can just eat a massive amount of calories and fuel. And so if I'm running Badwater, I have someone to throw food at me and drinks to me, and Biggs as well. Or if I'm running even usually a point-to-point 100-mile race, there's aid stations. But out in Barkley, you have to carry everything you're going to eat. So it doesn't make sense for me to carry, maybe I have to limit the amount of poundage that I'm carrying on my back. And so last year I made a mistake of not bringing enough calories with me in Loop 2. And that was pretty much the reason why I missed finishing Loop 2 by just, really inches. I literally missed it by 10 minutes, which is nothing in terms of I spent over 12 hours on that second loop. Because my first loop, I think, was in 10 hours or something like that. So by running low on calories, my body was moving slower than I normally would. You need the calories to propel yourself. And so it's Barkley is tricky, because you have to make sure you bring in enough fuel with yourself. And it would be a mix of I usually do tailwind, and I'll have that for a base of calories, but I also want to have things I can snack on and be eating at least something every hour. And by the fact that I totally underestimated how long I was going to be on Loop 2, and I also didn't bring enough calories, I made a mistake with that. So this year I'll aim to carry more calories with myself, and be even more methodical about consuming them at regular intervals. And that's interesting, because that's what the beauty of Barkley is there's so many different elements that are going on in your mind at once. So I'm thinking, okay, my pace. Okay, I'm thinking I'm not going to crash over this rock that's uneven under my ankle. I don't want to break my ankle as I'm running down this wet, muddy, steep embankment mountain that's 700 meters. So it's then you got to be thinking, I need to be consuming food, and you're trying to keep pace with the person that might be near you, and you don't want to lose them, so you're not going to slow down to eat something. So there's a lot of things that are happening simultaneously that add to the whole lure of the mystique of Barkley.
And as we're talking about Barkley and nature, we mentioned before, how does being in nature doing your runs influence your philosophy of life and running? We know that you love animals, and you're definitely a nature guy. Is running the motive, or the opposite? Is it being in nature the reason why you run?
I definitely, it's a combination. I love the nature, and I feel the most connected to the earth and to life force, being in nature. And it makes me more empathetic to the planet and to animals. So I'm the one that if I see some little animal or a little lizard or something, I'm gonna be dodging not to step on the little guy. I'm really sensitive to try not to but I also just have a great appreciation for the animals out in nature, and I feel we're also we're kind of somewhat disconnected with our natural state of being because of the modern technology and being in these buildings. It's so for me to be outside, it's only running is sometimes my biggest part of being outside, and it's that's so powerful. And so it's a great way. I love exploring the world on our feet.
And have you thought about racing in some big mountain event, for example UTMB or Tour de Jean we have in Europe and Italy, challenges like this, or do you prefer the type of ventures that you're renowned for, like Badwater?
Yeah, so I love, I went to the Canadian Death Race this summer. And so that, I've done like Leadville and the Superior 100. But that Canadian Death Race was beautiful. I love being in the mountains. It's a whole different challenge, and I haven't I'm competitive in it, but it's it's somewhere that I still have to grow in as well. So it's fun to experience. And yeah, I'm gonna be doing Western States this year. So that's going to be a big element of my training and preparation, and seeing how far I can go with that. And I would love to do some of the mountainous races in Europe. The challenge is when it happens during the school year, I only have limited time. And I take a week off, unpaid in the first semester for Biggs, or a week off for Barkley. And so that makes it hard for Tour de France. But I do have, I want to do Hard Rock 100. So even this year, I'm looking at my schedule and seeing which race I could possibly do for the qualifying race. Although my schedule is really getting cramped up now, and there's certain A races I don't want to influence, but I would like to get into a qualifying race so I can have an opportunity to possibly get into that race in the years ahead.
Do you think if you had more time, you didn't have a normal job, an office job, let's call it like that, you would be even more competitive in the ultra running world, or you think that?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure, because I get some good positive energy from my students. So it's a bit like the fountain of youth around here, So we can drop down, do some planks. I get to see the world from their perspective. So there's a lot of good positive energy I get from interacting with my students and my colleagues. And, so that's kind of a wild thing. But on the other hand, yeah, I would love to hit the cycling class this morning, or do afternoon hot and cold sessions. That would be pretty nice. But I operate with the time I have, and just try to be as creative as I can be with it.
So we're running out of time, unfortunately. So 2 very quick questions. The first is, any advice for aspiring ultra runners that is going to listen to this interview?
Yeah, it's just to find your joy. Find the fun, find what you love, what you makes you happy. And I feel really it's very nice to have that solitude, to have an element of your training where you go out and you do something solo throughout your week. But it's also really nice to connect with other runners. So if you can incorporate one other person, or a club, or a team in your run once a week, you're just going to be more motivated, and you're going to get more enjoyment from the whole experience, and you're actually going to grow and be faster and stronger for having that. And I think it's kind of also fun to find something each year that you try to challenge yourself with. So instead of being limited to maybe one particular type of the race, or one particular. I love Badwater. Now I go back every year. This has been my 13th year running Badwater, and I hope to be doing it when I'm 80. so I have this Badwater thing I enjoy. So I do like going back to certain races, but every year I like to go to the fact of your question about the mountain race. I would love to go experience some of those mountain races, and to grow in that category. That would be a lot of fun. So I think it's really neat to constantly be trying to improve in some way, or explore some new event or race,
and inspire and explore a bit the capabilities, I imagine. Yeah, that's really cool. And we have a tradition on this channel. All the interviews have to be closed with this question, which is a bit philosophical. What is running for you? What does it mean in your life?
Yeah, running is life. It is life. So running brings life into my. It runs through my veins. It is a force of energy that binds us, and it's it's brought so much to my life. I'm grateful for all the experiences. It's kind of like dancing, although it can be a little bit of everything. It can help you through therapy. So it's free. So it's beautiful. It belongs. If you cannot run, then some sort of movement is like walking, swimming, cycling. Those are all amazing to just. I feel like they bring us to life in the ways that we cannot experience without them. And hopefully they'll bring us together. I mean, especially in this time where we have the world at it ends with each other. I see Palestinians, Jews, Russians, Ukrainians. I mean, it's a idealistic dream, it sounds like now, but coming together and competing with each other in these running events, and we find out that there really isn't there's not as many differences between people as there are commonalities, and I feel like running has a way to bring people together.
Oh yeah, that is absolutely true. Well, we definitely got together for this, and I'm really, really thankful for your time. I know it's very precious, and I'm really honored to have been able to speak to you.
I'm honored. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. It's been such a pleasure, so much so.
And I hope to see you around again, like it happened a few years ago in America for Badwater, maybe, who knows, somewhere else.
I really hope so. Yes, I really
Thanks
hope
a lot.
so.
Bye.
Hey, thank you so much.